Hi guys, my name is Haley Joe and welcome to this week's yoga practice. I was dealing with a shoulder injury for a little while, so I was doing verbal only cues, but I am back this week and I am so excited. We'll be using probably one or two blocks or props today, whatever you have. I'm going to be using these back here, but if you have a sweatshirt or a pillow nearby that you want to use, that's totally fine as well. Let me see if there's anything else. I won't be playing any music today, so if you would like to put some on, go ahead and do that now. I think that is it. We'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start in a seated position, legs crossed. Hands can be up or down on the knees, and just let the eyes close. We want a nice tall spine, reaching from the base all the way up to the crown of the head, maybe pushing into the hands. Acknowledge the breath without changing it. Feel the way that air is touching and moving around the skin. The sounds you might hear around you. Just take a few moments to arrive here in this moment on your mat. A moment to be present in the body and with the breath. I'm going to walk through a breathing exercise. If that sounds interesting to you, feel free to follow along. If not, continue following the natural rhythm of your breath. If you're with me, place your right hand on your belly. Inhale through the nose, inflate the belly into the hands. Sip in a little air at the top. And open mouth, exhale. Let the breath go. Again, in through the nose, inflate the belly, this time the ribs. 2 sips of air at the top. And exhale out the mouth. And again, breathing in through the nose, inflate the belly, the ribs. This time the chest will come last. Sip of air at the top. And exhale. This is your Dirga Pranayama, your belly breath. We're going to move through this a few times at your own pace. You can return your hand to the knee if that's more comfortable for you. Eyes will stay closed. Continue this count at your own pace. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Feel free to keep that counts in the head if that helps you pace the breath. Really try to achieve that audible exhale. As you inhale, acknowledge how the breath feels being pulled in through the nose, traveling down the throat, through the lungs, into the belly. And then on its way out, being pushed out the mouth, feeling that emptiness in the belly. Focusing the mind on these little sensations, these acts of the breath, really help us to center the mind and to focus, a form of meditation. A few more breaths at your own pace. Maybe feeling the heart rate slow. The body feeling a little softer. When you're finished with the last breath that you are on, we're going to drop the chin down to the chest. And as slowly as possible, we're going to inhale and roll the right ear up to the right shoulder. And exhale back to center. Inhale left. And exhale. Inhale right. Exhale. And last time, inhale left. Exhale back to center. We're going to gently roll the head back up. We'll have a nice tall spine. And let the eyes take on some light. We're going to place the palms out in front and roll over onto the knees, coming into a tabletop position. I'm going to move back here just so you can see me. We want the knees directly below the hips and the wrists directly below the shoulders. Fingers are spread out nice and wide, toes are tucked. And on your inhale, we're going to drop the belly, bring the gaze to the ceiling, cow pose. And exhale, push the earth away, tuck the navel, cat. Gaze is at the thighs. Inhale, cow. Maybe finding some movement here, really opening up that belly space. And exhale, cats. Again, really pushing the earth away, maybe finding some movement here in the spine, in the hips, maybe in the shoulders. And inhale, last cycle. And exhale. We're going to inhale back to center. We have a nice, stable, flat spine right across the back. We don't want to be doming, curving. We're going to be nice, stable, and strong. We're going to ground the left palm into the mat. Ground with those right toes and the right knee. We're going to inhale the right arm out in front. Inhale, reach. And exhale, we're going to swipe to the left. And we're going to inhale back to center. And exhale the palm back down. Beautiful. Other side. Make sure we're grounding with that right palm. We're going to inhale the left fingertips up to the sky. Reach. And exhale, swipe to the right. Inhale back to center. We're going to exhale back down. We're going to do this 2 more times at your own pace. Always exhaling to curve. And what we're doing here is whatever side your hands are pointing to, we're opening up the side body of the opposite side. Beautiful. So here I'm opening up the left side body as I'm curving to the right. These lateral movements help to warm up the spine. Last cycle. Warming up the spine, warming up the arms, the core. Kind of dipping our toe into these movements. Beautiful. On your next breath, we're going to walk the knees out to the edges of the mat, bring the big toes together, and we're going to sink into a child's pose. You can spread the arms out nice and wide to stretch out the shoulders, and you can bring your forehead or either cheek down to the mat. You might feel the tailbone sinking a little bit deeper into the feet, into the mat with each breath. With each inhale, feel the belly inflating towards the mat. If you'd like to set an intention for the remainder of our practice, go ahead and do that now. Last breath here. On your next inhale, we're going to glide forward back to a tabletop. Return the knees below the hips. Turn the hands. We're going to tuck the toes, walk the hands one palm print forward, and float the hips to the sky, downward dog. You want to spread the fingers nice and wide so we can ground through all 10 points of the hands. We're keeping the knees slightly bent. Heels are reaching for the mat, but by no means have to make contact. Mine certainly don't most of the time. Can pedal out the feet, wiggle the hips. Take a few grounding breaths here. You're going to inhale and come onto the toes and find your way to the middle or top of your mat, forward fold. Beautiful. Big toes are together, or feet can be hips width distance apart. Arms are hanging low, or they can rest on the back. You can grab a block too and meet them higher up if you want to have something stable to push into. Completely surrender the head to gravity. Don't feel like you need to hold the head up at all. This will create space in the tiny discs at the top of the spine that hold our heads up all day long. Just let the upper body hang. If you struggle with lower back pain, this is a good pose to come to. It's easy. You can do it in your living room without any props or without a mat. Really takes a lot of the pressure off the lower spine. Next inhale, we're going to halfway lift, lengthen through the crown of the head. Gaze is directly below you. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown of the head. And exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to slowly ragdoll, roll all the way up to standing. Head will come last. Beautiful. Can't see my head here, but that's all right. We're going to set up for tree pose. We're gonna start on the right side. So we're gonna ground with the left foot into the mat. Come onto the ball of the right foot, and we're gonna open up the hip. Hands are on the hips, so we make sure we're nice and square. Option to stay here, kind of kickstand on that left ankle, or you can bring your foot up to the calf. Option to guide it up above the knee onto the thigh. When you feel nice and balanced here, let the arms take a shape. Maybe they're at heart center, out in front, out to the sides, or again, you can't see me, but out above the head. They're above the head. Hands are spread out nice and wide. Arms are in a wide position. Maybe find some movement. Maybe test the balance and try closing the eyes. Check in with the breath. Two more breaths here. Beautiful. We're going to slowly come out the same way we came in. Wiggle it out and transition to the other side. So grounding with that right foot coming onto the ball of the left. Hands will be on the hips, and we're going to open up that hip, kickstanding the left foot onto the right. Option to stay here, come up to the calf, or skip the knee and bring it all the way up to the thigh. And once you feel nice and balanced, let your arms take a shape. This side might feel a little bit different than the other, maybe harder, maybe easier. We typically have different balancing abilities on different sides of the body. So something to notice and learn about yourself. Maybe try closing the eyes on this side. Reminding yourself that it's okay to wiggle, to fall. It's only practice, and I like to say progress as well. Two more breaths here. We're going to come out the same way we came in. Wiggle it out. Get a drink of water if you need one. We're going to come in to our wide-legged fold of the day. So we're going to spread the legs out nice and wide. Make sure you have your blocks or bolsters nearby. We're going to use them. So we want a really wide stance. Toes are pointed out or pointed forward, just not in. We want to protect the knees. So once you feel nice and stable, we're going to inhale the arms up and exhale, bending only in the hips. We're going to come down to our wide-legged forward fold. Hands will hopefully meet something below. Maybe it's a block. Maybe it's the ground. Feel free to adjust the legs so the hands can meet a surface. Again, we're letting the head fall heavy. Few breaths here. Maybe finding some movement back and forth just to loosen up the muscles in the upper thigh, the groin area. Really steadying that breath. For the next 3 breaths, 3 to 5 breaths, feel free to take them as you like. If you'd like to go into a headstand, that's perfectly fine. Maybe you want to walk the hands to each foot, stretching out one leg at a time. Take a few breaths here. This is your practice. Maybe we want to widen the legs and come down onto the forearms. Two more breaths wherever you're at. Beautiful. I'm going to move these blocks out of the way. Go ahead and move yours as well. So coming back into the center, what we're going to do is just heel toe the legs back to center until they're probably 2.5, 3 feet apart. We're going to bend in the knees and come into a yogi squat. Option to put your block or pillow beneath the sits bones. This can feel really good. The block can help the chest stay nice and tall if that's something you struggle with without it. Sometimes it's easy to dome over. So using the block, we can keep that upper body nice and strong. We want to use these elbows to push the knees out of the way. Few breaths here. Back is nice and straight. Lengthening through the crown of the head. Really following that breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Last breath here. We're going to take that block away if you are using one and allow the sits bones to come all the way down onto the mat. I'm going to pivot to the side just so you can see what I'm doing. If you are turned, go ahead and pivot as well. Feet are going to be placed firmly on the mat. We're going to grab our prop, whatever you're using today. Back is nice and straight. And we're going to slowly, one vertebra at a time, roll all the way down. Back starts to fold. Head will come last. Beautiful. And once we're there, we're going to walk the feet in so we can almost brush the ankles with those fingertips. Activate the core, activate the glutes, and we're going to lift the hips up and slide our block or prop beneath the sacrum or the lowest point of the spine and lower down onto it for supported bridge. Hands can be on the belly, above the head, down by the side, whatever feels good for you. Take a few grounding breaths here. Heart might be beating faster. Allow the breath to find a neutral, stable, steady rhythm. Option to stay here. Another option to extend the feet up to the sky. This is really good for circulation, and the longer you're able to stay here, the more benefits you may receive from it. Three more breaths wherever you're at. The feet are extended. Go ahead and lower them back down to the mat. We're going to remove the block. And on your next inhale, we're going to bring the knees into the chest. Give them a nice squeeze. Maybe roll around. Massage the lower back. We're going to bring the hands to a T or goalpost arms. And we're going to let the knees, like they're glued together, fall together to the right side of the body. Feel like you need to hold or squeeze or stretch anything here. You've done the work. It's behind you. We're just letting the body fall, hang heavy, take its own form. We're going to inhale the knees back to center and exhale, let them fall to the left. Inhale back to center. Give the knees one last tight squeeze. Squeeze everything, the hands, the toes, the eyebrows. We're going to exhale, extend the arms and legs out long to set up for our final pose of the day. We're going to let the toes fall out to the sides. Maybe tuck the shoulder blades down beneath us. We have a nice open chest. We're going to relax the jaw. Let the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth. Give yourself permission to find complete stillness. The eyes hang heavy and closed. Turn in. Shavasana. In this crazy, chaotic world we live in, it's really kind of uncomfortable for us to sit in silence, to do nothing. And that's why Shavasana is so important, such a vital pose, arguably the most important pose of our practice. A challenge for the mind. If your schedule allows it, I challenge and hope you'll remain here for as long as you can. But if you'd like to finish the practice with me today, begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle the fingers and toes, inviting tiny movements back into the body. Extend your right or left arm long above the head and roll into a ball on that side of the body. And take 2 breaths here. And then using your hands and as little effort as possible, meet me in a seated position where we begin our practice today. Eyes will remain closed. Hands will meet together at heart center, pressing the thumbs to the sternum. Sitting nice and tall. Breathing in through the nose, letting it travel through the body and out through the mouth. There are 8 limbs to yoga, and what we just did on our mat today is just one of them. It's crazy to think about, it's just one of them. Yoga is really about being a good friend, a good neighbor, lending a helping hand when you know you won't be getting anything in return. How we handle situations of conflict and strife. I challenge you to consider these things on and off of your mat. I'm so grateful that you shared your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Halie Jo. If you do have questions, please let me know. You can comment them below in the comment section. You can reach out to me on social media, or you can contact the rec directly. Yeah, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.